So, the Steam Deck. It's Valve's new console. It's basically what the Switch OLED was supposed to be, but we don't talk about that. Recently, Valve took off the reservations or queue line for the Steam Deck, so literally anyone can order it. Anyone! I managed to get myself one after waiting like 2 weeks of getting the money for it, but there's still one question that I have on my mind. Does Trainz run on the Steam Deck? There's no denying that Trainz Railroad Simulator has a few entries on the Steam store, starting with Trainz Simulator 12, and most recently, Trainz Railroad Simulator 2022. Now, I already have my copy of Trainz 12. I have a physical version that I bought years ago off of eBay. Same with Trainz New Era, but I don't think the installation discs work all that well. Same for Trainz Railroad Simulator 2019, but I bought that off of the N3V Games store when it was still a public beta. And finally, we have Trainz Railroad Simulator 2022. I decided to buy this off of Steam because I decided to just I have all my games in one place. I might as well do the same for Trainz Railroad Simulator. Now, I know others might say that the game is a bit lacking in features compared to 2019's launch, but yeah, of course, yeah. It is a bit lacking in terms of features. I mean, the only new thing that I've really seen in the features department is the multiplayer surveyor, but even that's limited. Like, you only have like 2 routes to play with that. But I will give the game credit. It's still got a fair bit of content to play around with. Like, you got new P42s, you got new Superliners, a bunch of JR content. You got a lot of shit to play around with here. But this isn't a review of Trainz 2022. We're here to see if this works on the Steam Deck. Now, first off, I just want to say this isn't your Quantum TV video where I'm just, ranting about the Steam Deck and just not even stating facts.
I am thoroughly tickled.
Because unlike that video, I'm actually going to be stating facts. Not about the Steam Deck, about how Trainz runs on the Steam Deck. You get the point, let's get into it. Now obviously when starting Trainz E for the first time, you gotta input your MyTrainz account or the game won't run. Well, yeah, that happens with the launcher, but don't worry, I know I'll work around. Hey guys, Specific here. I just realized I was a little bit wrong when I was telling you how to input your MyTrainz account into the game. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open up Trainz. Then you want to go to set it. I'll just zoom in so you guys can see better on this one. So you want to go to Trainz settings. Then you want to go to this tab here. And then you just fill out your MyTrainz account settings here. Now there will be when you're filling out your MyTrainz account, for me I had a problem where when I was typing my username, that was visible, but when I was typing my password, that wasn't visible. Even though it looks like when you're typing in the password slot, the text will be invisible, but it's actually not. You're still typing in a password there. So just make sure that the password is typed in correctly, I guess, somehow. And then click OK, and if it's signed in, then you're good to go. Anyway, back to the video. Then you go back into gaming mode by just pressing the go back to gaming mode button on desktop mode, and then you can finally play Trainz. Now it may look like the buttons are not visible on my camera, but that's probably because the saturation is so high. So don't worry about that. It's very visible. Now the route selection screen and main menu screen basically work the same way as it would on PC. Basically, you use the touchpad or joystick to move the cursor, and use the left trigger to grab the slider to scroll through your routes. So here we are on west from Denver. This is a Trainz E 2022 route, or Trainz Plus route if you have the subscription service. It looks pretty decent, to be honest. Even with the performance settings dimmed down a little bit. As you can see here, you can use the shoulder buttons to scroll in and out of your train. You can even hold down the right trigger and use the touchpad or joystick to move the camera around, as you can see here and as you saw a few seconds ago. You can also change between the control stands, like from easy mode to realistic mode, and give commands on the fly, as you can see over here in just a second. There you go. You can, give it a track mark to drive to, or just drive or something like that. You can give it commands on the fly, basically. You can also use the D-pad to move the camera around as well if you wanted to do that. There's a lot of ways to move the camera around in this game. We'll be getting to cab mode as well eventually. in just a moment here. So to switch between the 4 different camera modes, you can press the each corner of the left touchpad here. Top left is cab mode, top right is chase mode, bottom left is tracking mode, and bottom right is free run mode. And of course you can do other things too, like uncouple trains, couple up the trains, blow the horn, the bell, activate the lights and ditch lights. You can basically do whatever you basically can do on PC. At least I think you can. I've tried to test as much as possible as I could on Trainz. I've even played around on one of the other sessions in my free time, Avis Yard Work on the CNO Thurman, whatever it is, division thing. It works about as well as you'd expect it to be on PC. It basically you can drive a train basically on this thing. You can drive a train. It is certified. You can drive a train on this thing. The Steam Deck also supports touch screen support as well, so you can use just your finger to control the little on-screen HUD, like the DCC dial and the on-screen cab control thing on the bottom right. You can also, I think we're going to go into cab mode here in a bit. Just give me like 1 sec. You can also drag the. You can also use the mouse, the touchpad, and left trigger to also move the in-cab levers. As you can see here, I can move the brake handle, the reverser, and the throttle as well. It's honestly very incredible to see that Trainz actually works natively on Steam Deck, sort of, like 99%, excluding the launcher. The launcher's the only thing that's messed up here. So it's honestly amazing to see that it works so natively and so well on the Steam Deck that you can actually just drive Trainz on it, and it won't be a problem. It's literally like the only thing that's holding it back is just the launcher, and it still works. That's the only thing, and it's honestly incredible. Now we're gonna exit driver mode here since we're done with that now. So we're just gonna press this button here on the top right to bring up the save menu, and we're gonna press don't save. And don't worry, it does save your game. I just don't want to save this one. So anyway, we're gonna go to select route and create route. Now, when I first started testing Surveyor out on the Steam Deck, I honestly thought Surveyor wasn't going to work well. It was going to be mapped to the wrong buttons and stuff, but no, it actually works pretty well. You use the right trigger and the mouse pad to move the camera around like so, and you can use the D-pad as well to also rotate the camera as well, as you can see here, up, down, left, and right, sideways, gone wrong, gone sexual. And you can also use the shoulder buttons here to also scroll out the camera and also scroll out into the map view here. I probably should have also mentioned that in the driver mode thing, since you can do that too. You can also scroll into the map view there, but anyway, yeah, it works great. Then you use the mouse pad left trigger to select all the tabs there and place down objects. And you can basically do all that. It's it works so well, to be honest. I honestly am surprised that it works as well as it does. And yes, if you really wanted to, you could use your Steam Deck like an iPad to build your own route with just your finger. You can place down objects, delete objects, move track, trains, whatever you wanted to, you can do it with your fingers as well. And it's kind of funny when I think about this, because in the Trainz Simulator 12 trailer, they said at the 2-minute and 14-second mark, powerful world creation tool at your fingertips. I think this is taking it to a more literal sense now that I think about it. Now, as you can see here, I have made this example route. It's not the best looking, but it's just an example to show you that yes, you can make a route on the Steam Deck, and you can save your route here. And just play around with it and drive Trainz on it, and it's basically a full working game on the Steam Deck. And here's where the footage ends, because that's all the footage I got from the Steam Deck. Oh yeah, right. One more thing. Now I didn't know this was a feature until I accidentally found it out, but apparently you can do this remote connect play on your Steam Deck. Basically, you connect your computer to your Steam Deck, and your Steam Deck will show what you're doing on your computer, and you can control it from there too, which is amazing. Whoa, we're back to gameplay now. Alright, so that was Trainz Railroad Simulator 2022 on the Steam Deck. Now, as you saw from the gameplay, it ran pretty well, and that's only because I screwed around with the graphical settings a little bit, or performance settings, so I could get the best performance out of the game on the Steam Deck. And I will show my settings here, so you can copy them down and put them on your Trainz Railroad Simulator if you have a Steam Deck as well, so that you can get the best performance out of your game too. As for controls, they seem pretty alright. The control layout doesn't seem that confusing or bad in any way, especially on Surveyor. I was honestly surprised that it had that much of a good control layout, because I wasn't expecting it to have such good controls. Like, I was honestly expecting the buttons on Surveyor to be mapped to random locations where it would seem confusing and just unplayable, basically. But it works pretty alright, and that's honestly all I could ask for this game. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, but there is like a few other things that I kind of forgot to gloss over with Trainz on desktop mode for a bit. Now, if you're on desktop mode and you're trying to install some content on Content Manager or the Trainz Content Store, and your window for that isn't live updating, I don't know why it doesn't live update on its own. But basically, the only way to work around this, from what I've seen, is basically there's like this little button on the top right of the window of the Trainz Content Store and Content Manager, and it's called Restore. And just basically pressing that over and over again will manually live refresh the window. So if you're scrolling down to see some more content, you gotta press the Restore button, or if you're installing something, you gotta press the Restore button over and over again. It's kind of weird and awkward and kind of not that great, but it's the only workaround that I found to installing new content onto Trainz, whether it's DLC or anything. But you know what? I've kind of grown to accept this bug. Maybe it'll get fixed in the future. I'm not really sure. That's just the issue that I found with installing DLC or any other content to Trainz on desktop mode. Now, at first I kind of wanted to end this video with just a fan-made trailer of Trainz on the Steam Deck, but I don't really feel like making that right now, so maybe I'll make it as its own separate video eventually. Maybe I'll make a fan-made Steam Deck Trainz trailer eventually, but not right now. I kind of want to just get this video out because I got other stuff in the works that I want to get out too. So, thank you guys for watching, and as always, I will see you later. Have a good one, gamers.